Hi, guys. Welcome to the latest podcast of Yarn and Black. Today, I actually have a great friend on, Simon. Hi, Simon.
How you doing? Hey everyone, how we going?
Cool. Just before we do start, I just want to acknowledge the traditional custodians of the land that we're currently meeting on. I'm here in Baldwin Q on the land of the Wurundjeri people. I want to pay respect to their elders past, present, and emerging. And I'd like to extend that to any other Aboriginal people that are with us today, including Simon. So, Simon, thank you for joining me.
Thanks for having me. It's a pleasure. A bit nervous and anxious, but we'll get through.
That's cool. Nothing to be nervous about. It's a yarn with AJ with only about 50 people watching it, maybe. But just tell us a little bit about yourself. Who are you? Where you're from?
So I grew up in the western suburbs. I had quite a troubled past where I had some disconnection. Obviously, I'm half First Nations, half Italian, where I grew up with my grandparents who were Italian. When I was younger, I did try and get in touch with my family, which I ended up meeting my partner's family, who I've grown up with. We've been together since we're 11 and 12, so a long time. From that, I suppose we've just been together working in communities from our traumatic past. She's obviously First Nations as well, so we do a lot of advocacy around the western suburbs for everyone, not just mob. Well, we do focus on mob, but it's also about everyone. So a lot of the struggles that we endure is what other people do as well. We've been quite successful over the years in lobbying state and federal governments, local governments, and just advancing I suppose issues as a whole. I went into uni as a late. Sorry, I don't know if you can hear the kids screaming
That's
in the
all right.
background. We've got two kids, a 7-year-old and a 3-year-old. Um, so I went into social work, where I currently work in child protection, bringing my lived experience into the field, where I've led and worked on a lot of government, I suppose, not government, but implementing self-determination, working with community, and really bringing that into a reality. Um, my partner has been a nurse, and she's recently become the manager for the Aboriginal Health Unit at Western Health. And sorry, you probably hear them arguing now. And she's also the first elected councillor, Aboriginal councillor, elected on the city of Melton. So that was in 2020, which has been quite an exciting, eventful turn of events. And yeah, we still stay in the West, still working together for social issues and driving reform and change.
Oh, cool. So, do you study social work
I did, yep, at
at,
Vic Uni.
at Vic Uni?
Yep,
Yes.
I'm just going to grab the little one. Casey, come here. Do you want to come? Do you want to come be on the screen? He's upset. My oldest has gone to a friend's house next door, and
Yeah.
Casey's a bit upset. So I do apologise. Yeah. So yeah, I studied at Vic Uni. My partner as well at Vic Uni, nursing. Oh, she's actually got a Bachelor of Biomedical Science and Bachelor of Health, so a bit
Yeah.
more qualified than me. Yeah.
Because that's where I studied, VU. My social
Oh,
work
yeah.
at VU.
It's a good school. It's we've stayed on. We were a part of the V Unite team, so we used to run in the marathons,
Yeah.
doing fundraisers for different orgs. Where I started, I suppose my passion for training. I was quite unhealthy when I was younger. Had been quite overweight, and while I was at uni, I wanted to do something about it. And we joined the gym there, participated in the V Unite team. Where I suppose over the last, it's been a while now, probably over a decade, I've continued just to train and stay in the that bodybuilding health space. And then yeah, so now I'm venturing in to start my own business in supplements. I wanted to create I suppose, an Indigenous health range of supplements. But when I first investigated that, I found that the research and development for pretty much ingesting some of the stuff isn't there, and it would cost to do on your own a few million. You can partner up with pharmaceutical companies, but the issue was that they would retain the IP, and
Yeah.
I'm not big on that. I really wanted to do it and retain it for community. I wanted to do a bit of a social enterprise, focusing also on men's health, also women's health, but a big part in men's health. I think a lot of mob, sadly passed away too early. And one that hit me quite hard was a friend who I'd worked with recently. passed away a bit young. I think a lot of mob were impacted through COVID as well. So I really want to move into that space. I've just been, I suppose, struggling to fine tune the audience, the market, the product. I'm doing pre-workouts, protein powders, all made in Australia, using as many Australian products as possible, because I want it to be that, if you're going to support, if you want business that supports people, you need to support, I suppose, our own country first for employment. That's where it starts. But it has been challenging on a competitive level with other major products that like when I engage with some of the stores and outlets, they're buying units for $10, $15, which I can't compete with. So that's hard. But I've done other stuff like marketing. I competed in my first bodybuilding competition this year. I did it. It's good. I came fifth in state and then fifth in national for the I Compete Natural Bodybuilding. So everything is natural. I don't use any steroids, just the supplements. I think it was a good outcome, considering that I didn't have a coach or a trainer. It was all done by myself, just because finances, obviously work as well as a priority in the children, so trying to find the time. Through that, I did find that running marathons when I was younger did impact my leg development. So unfortunately, when you run, you get type 2 muscle fibers, which are thinner and built for bursts of speed, whereas bodybuilding, you need them a bit more size-wise, which I'm trying to work on now. Look, I'm not that bad. Like, if you've seen the videos and photos on social media, I don't know if you've seen a few of them. It looks, it's all right. Look, upper body, it's good. I've got some key features that others don't. I've got what I call Arnie biceps. So if you ever see Arnold Schwarzenegger, he's got that double bicep. A lot of people don't have that, where I've got that. Like, if people can see, I don't know. Ooh, where's the camera? Wrong way. Yeah, not the best. Probably better on socials. So so just focusing on your strengths, I guess. And I'll be going again this year. There is a comp coming up in April, which I don't know if I'm going to be ready for, but there'll be one later on in October, November, which will be the first of its kind in Australia, where the ICN will be hosting it at the Olympic Village in Canberra. So that's a pretty big thing. So yeah, it's not every day where bodybuilding goes to an Olympic Village kind of thing. It's bodybuilding's always been out of the Olympics. So yeah.
So how many hours a day do you bodybuild?
How many hours a day? So that's a good question. It depends how much I would like to. I would like to do a lot more than what I currently do. But I think the issue, obviously, being a dad, and working your priorities to your family first. I do go to the gym, not as much as I used to in a physical gym. I do go every now and then with friends there and things like that. But I've invested in a gym at home, so I tend to train. Look, it depends. Off peak, maybe an hour a day, hour and a half at most. And I quite enjoy training at home because the kids will jump into training with me, which is good because it helps provide them with, a healthy start, and they love it. So you've probably seen some of my TikToks. They've been in them doing the posing and the training, and then like my kids' friends will come over and they'll want to do the gym as well. So look, probably an hour and a half. For comp, it gets hard because you're probably trying to get at least 4 hours a day in. You got to, before work, after work, lunch break sort of stuff. But the biggest part with bodybuilding, and what I've learned, I suppose, over the last year doing that comp, is that it's more around diet and ensuring that you've got enough protein to grow muscles, eating enough carbs to power your workouts. Like, the actual training aspect of it to build and develop, it doesn't take like long. You'll see these clips with people training for 8 hours a day. You don't really need that long. You can do it if you're just looking for, I suppose, to be healthier, a good 45 minutes a day, and that's plenty. The main thing comes from your diet. Removing, like, my biggest gainers where I won was removing processed sugars, and cutting back on discretionary foods like packets of chips and all that kind of stuff, and soft drinks. So I still drink Pepsi Max because I like a sweet drink every now and then. But yeah, so training doesn't take that long for a comp. and when you're training for a comp, I should probably elaborate a bit more. It's probably about that 2 week period where you're training about 4 hours a day. But that also includes, practicing for posing and all that kind of stuff, which is something I still need to get into. Some, if you see my videos of posing, and I did that first comp because I wanted to get that experience on stage, because it was
Yeah.
actually quite nerve wracking in front of everyone. I remember that first round I did, I was shaking, like I felt like I was shaking. Everyone's like, "No, I couldn't say anything. You look confident." Like, "Nah, I was shaking." So it was about getting used to that process and system, because you can do all the training you like, coaching, and still get on stage and then just melt like butter, and then it's all for nothing. So a lot of people say to me, "Oh, you shouldn't do that until you learn how to do this, learn how to do that, fix this, fix that." I'm like, "Nah, I want to get on stage because I want to see if I can reduce my calories to get to the lean size I need to be, and I want the experience on stage in front of people. So when I do come back and I do all the coaching, I'm confident and I'm not scared." And I think that worked really well. So yeah, it was good.
Do you, have you noticed anything else in your health that's actually improved?
Yeah, so I think a good you heal a lot faster. Like, I think cardio plays a big role in that. I find that just like injuries, like obviously I'm getting older, you need to train a bit differently because you can't, your body doesn't work like it used to. Like a few times I've had like I don't know what I've probably torn like something in my back, or I've had these shooting pains and all that kind of stuff. And doctors say, "Oh, you got to rest for a week or whatever." Whereas I find actively walking reduced inflammation and got me back
Yeah.
in the gym quicker. And that was like, it was a pretty serious injury too. Like, I couldn't sleep in bed. Like, it hurt for a lot of my back. I had to stay on my side and literally pull myself with my arm across. Just more energy, I guess, as well. Just mood as well is a lot better. More energy for the kids, playing with the kids. I just like a lot of the health and fitness stuff that I do is around family and involving the family in the process, like bike rides, all that kind of stuff. So I've got more energy and more, I suppose, ambition to go out and do it rather than, "Oh, I'm tired, I can't." Whereas I'll be like, "Oh no, let's go." All the kids will come in, "Let's go for a bike ride." "All right, let's go." So yeah.
Yeah. So what's your business called with
So
the supplement?
yeah, I couldn't really think of a name, like, and I just used my surname, like Vallone. Like, that was it was pretty catchy, I guess. A lot of people said it, and a bit of a reason again why I got into the supplements, because I've been training for so long. People were coming up to me, "Oh, what do you use? What do you take?" And for a long time, I was saying other people's products, and then I was at DJPR for a bit, and um, one of my colleagues at the time turned around and said, "People keep asking you, why don't you just make your own here?" And then, every time they ask you, you just say make your own stuff, which is what I do now. Plus, a lot of the stuff that's imported, I don't know if you've seen online, the TGA Therapeutic Goods Australia identified something like 60 or 70% of things that imported contain poisons, banned substances, and I was a bit
Yeah.
conscious about that, so I started making, obviously everything sourced here, making it here. But yeah, so it's called Vallone. I've got a website. I do blogs, information, funny TikToks as well. It's just www.vallone.com.au. Same thing on YouTube and TikToks, mainly my name. And I think because me and my partner have been active in the community for a long time, doing a lot of things, everyone sort of knows my surname as well, like Simon Vallone. It's pretty, like, it's a unique name, and when people hear it, they know what it is. So you either like it or you don't like it. I don't know, but you would have known the name. So yeah, it's just people, when they hear it, they'll know who it is. So it's yeah, I think it's helped, and it's also helped with SEO. So if you've got products like protein powder, you're trying to fight 50 million other companies to have your protein powder at the top of SEO, whereas my stuff that I'm building is around sort of healthy lifestyles. Like, I'm only just getting started out. Well, I've got the products. The products were there to, I suppose, sell and raise capital to put back into the business to build. Like, I want to do. I do blogs and information and reporting on some of the bodybuilding stuff and fitness stuff, but also like recipes, programs. And obviously, I wanted to raise money. Well, it's going to take me a while to get into the R&D stuff to do sort of indigenous supplements. But look, that is a goal in the long run. But yeah, we just got to keep pushing, I
Yeah.
guess, keep dreaming. Yeah.
Now, I work with a lot of young males that want to get into improving their bodies and including bodybuilding. Where should they start? Where do you start?
Look, I think the first thing of starting is showing up. You know, even if like a lot of people get anxious going to a gym because they don't know what they're doing. And I think, I suppose with me, my personality, I'm quite open, engaging, and I can make friends anywhere. If you throw me somewhere, like my partner always says, you end up going somewhere you know no one, and everyone's going to know you. Like if I go on a plane or train, I'll end up talking to people, and I just, you know, and that's how I know a lot of people at the gym now just from walking in. And I think don't be afraid to approach people because it is quite a good culture at the gym. Like I know some aspects probably aren't the best, but I think with gym culture, it's quite different to other sectors and sports. Like if you look at the bodybuilding from the 80s, it was quite culturally diverse. A lot of different people, and it didn't matter what race, religion, you're all there to train. And it was, you know, it's always been a good place to go. Even the crew that I hang around with at the gym, all different races, religions, beliefs, genders. Um, and I think just showing up, you know, and you can always like just look at what other people are doing. Don't be afraid to ask. I think some of the things you got to be careful of. There is a lot of influences in this space now, which is why I've jumped on the socials because I want to try and it's a bit harder being older. You know, it's all young people doing it, but I thought give it a go. You've got there's obviously the use of steroids and all that kind of stuff is quite big in this sector, and what people want to do is what people want to do. No judgment on anyone, but I think it's hard where some people who do use steroids and don't disclose that to people that are viewing their stuff or following them, it provides a false image of what can be achieved. Like someone using steroids with a routine of kind of routine might not work for other people, and people get disenfranchised. Like, oh, I'm doing all this stuff, but it's not working. So you need to find what works for you, and most of all, like it's about having fun, right? That's why I go. I go there to de-stress. Stressful day at work. Um, Kids have upset me. Partners upset me. You know, just having a crap time. I'll go there to switch off and take it out at the gym. So I think it's around and that it's finding why you're there, you know, and once you figure out why you're showing up, it's a lot easier. And routines and exercises, look, you can get a coach. I think what I've learned over the years, if you do get a coach, um, they're knowledgeable and they're great. But sometimes you also need to take on board what they're saying, but maybe not all of it because you've got to find what works for you and apply that. So because the only person that knows your body is you. The coach isn't going to know. They can help and advise you, but they don't know what you're feeling or how your body's reacting. So as you train more and more, you'll learn, oh yeah, this works well. And same with dieting. Look, I'm at a stage now in my life where like we went through this stage of counting calories, whereas now I don't. I know that, you know, just basic stuff. Oh, I'm not going to have too much sugar now, or I'm not going to have that. So you learn it and you just adapt. So, but yeah.
Yeah. How can you get community to understand more about healthy eating and exercise?
Look, I think there's a lack of programs out there, and I remember being younger myself, and you go to things and info sessions. It's all about, oh, look how much sugar is in Coke, but you don't actually learn. Like food is chemistry. Like there's a whole thing about food that we don't learn that I've only sort of just learned over the years. And what I'm trying to do with some of my blogs, like for instance, you know, people hear, oh, you have lots of protein if you're training, but people don't know why. Why are we eating lots of protein? And they think that they can't eat carbs, but it's actually going to do damage. So, like, you know, for your body, you eat protein because protein's broken down into amino acids, which repairs muscles, grows bone densities, regulates hormones, but it doesn't actually provide you with energy. It does if you don't have enough carbs because your body starts breaking down your muscles to give you energy, but you don't want that occurring. So whereas carbs, on the other hand, are an energy source that you need that help you train, give you the energy throughout the day, helps brain function. You know, glycogen is a important compound that, you know, provides energy to your cells. You know, then, you know, fats as well. There's healthy fats, bad fats. avoiding them. And it's just about educating people on what it is that you're putting in your mouth. And then, you go from there. And I think, look, my kids are pretty good with food and diet. They pretty much eat what they want. But I think educating them at a young age, like, this is full of sugar. It's not going to help you. It tastes great. It's in sometimes food, So, but also that role modeling at home. If you're eating healthy, that also helps sends that sort of message for everyone as well.
So did you play any sport before, or at school did you play sport?
Nah, look, when I was very, very young, I played. Oh, sorry, no, I don't, Bub. Sorry, I'm doing something. Thanks. Um, no, as a kid, I suppose I couldn't really afford sports. I come from, like I was saying, my mum was a single mum, grew up with my grandparents who had been recent migrants, so money wasn't really in our family. So I didn't really, other than at school or with friends in the street, didn't really play sports or anything like that. But yeah. So it wasn't until I was later on at uni where I'm like, oh, I want to go to the gym. A lot of that was to do, I suppose, I had developed like a really bad heartburn, acid reflux, and I used to be on the Pariet tablets. I used to take them daily,
Yeah.
and what I found since training and exercising and watching my diet, that condition is completely gone. Like I haven't had a Pariet tablet in 13, 14, 15 years. So
Oh,
yeah, yeah.
wow. So I'm going to ask you a couple of questions. When you're at school, how much Aboriginal studies did you learn at school?
Oh, look, it was shocking at school, and like I was saying before, I can't go too much into it because I've got an active case at the moment for a bit of the stuff I went through. But I remember at school, studies it was all about um, domination. It was about invasion. It was like, oh, it was a war we won, we took over. I was ridiculed a bit as well. Uh, so yeah, it was non-existent. And even look, having young kids now as well, that's something that I've been advocating for. Lots of arguments with the education department currently. Received apology at one stage, but
Yeah.
look, there's not enough education around sort of truth telling and helping shape that future. Look, currently I live in a really good part of my community, so we've got a lot of Indian community members moving out here, big population who also have similar experiences with colonization. So I think compared to when I was growing up, in the area that I was, where I'd go to school and there'd be jokes about, I don't want to say the joke, but like breakfast cereal jokes. I don't know if you know what I'm talking about. There'd be a lot of jokes, and it was a lot of shame. Whereas here with the community that we have around us now, and it's quite good because they've got a few of their religious temples here, so we have a big community. We engage with it. My kids play with them. They understand and they ask, why do people do this? Why? Like a lot of people didn't understand why the referendum went no. Like they were like, what? So I think there is some change, but I think it's more communities that drive that change than governments, I guess.
Right. So you do also do a lot of community work as well.
Yep.
So what what do you enjoy most about working for the community?
So I think a big part of my career, look, when I was about, oh, I don't want to go too much into the story, but I was about 21, where I was saying like I had issues in my life, all this kind of stuff was going on, and Ash was like, what are you going to do with your life? What are we doing? And I wanted, I suppose, in a moment of clarity that I had realized that a lot of the issues in my life wasn't so much because of me, but rather of what was the external factors that were contributing to what was leading me down these paths. And I suppose in that moment, I was angry and upset. And then I decided that I wanted to go to uni and I wanted to use my experiences to make change. And we were fortunate enough where Ash was also studying. She'd received a scholarship for nursing, and I was able to work not as much. So I could go to uni, and where I learned a lot more about things. And I suppose it was, for me personally, like you think you're going to have kids one day, and that's something that's always like, I'm like, what world am I going to bring my kids in? What can I do to make things better and different from them? Because people, I suppose, sometimes people think they're powerless, but you're really not. Like, it is a struggle. It is hard to make change, but I think if you're persistent and committed and clear on what you're trying to achieve, then you'll get there. And look, a good example. I'm not sure how many people know me and my partner who watch the podcast, but Ash becoming the first Aboriginal councillor in the city of Melton, first in decades. That wasn't done through anyone particularly helping us. That was done through, on our own backs, our own work, our own, this is what we want for the community. And it's about bringing everyone in on that journey as well, because you'll find a lot of issues that impact a lot of other people, especially out here in the western suburbs, which is a disadvantaged community. Lots of different nationalities and migrant groups. And I often find through my community work, what I've done, like through neighbourhood houses, fundraisers, all different kind of things, I find that everybody tends to have the same issue, but they go it alone, and they don't come together. And look, it is hard to come together at times because people do have different views and beliefs. And you'll find that, though, it's like if you put 10 people in a room, everyone's saying the same thing, they're just saying it differently, and they all think they're right. Whereas if you took a minute to listen to people, you'd find, hang on, we're all on the same page here. We actually need change. And that's kind of like a lot of stuff that happens. And I think, yeah, look, I've probably diverged off the question of why I got into it, but yeah, I got into it because I didn't like what I'd experienced, and I don't want anyone else to experience what I experienced, and I want to be, I want to try changing it. I feel, you've got two options in life. You can either sit back and say, oh, I can't do anything, or you can get up and say, you know what, I'm at least going to try and make this change. And I think having my background of a troubled, and this doesn't always work in my favor, but having that troubled youth background, having that sort of lived experience, the street smarts, you can walk into a situation and when someone's talking crap to your face, and you can call them out. I do that. I'm a pretty straight talking person. I won't beat around the bush, which sometimes people don't like. I'm like that at work as well. I think if you're working together with people, you need to know where your boundaries are and where you can go and where you can't. There's no point working on something and someone's feeding you lies, thinking you're progressing when you're not. Like, you put your work and put your time to an outcome. So, and it's not always, some things you need to fight for. Like the example we had a yarn before prior to this around some of the stuff which will be in the media coming up. And you just got to, people always tell me you need to pick your battles. I try and fight all of them, but maybe pick your battles. So, but I think if I just wanted change. I just didn't want a continuation. I wanted the cycle to end here with me, and I wanted something different for the kids and everyone else as well.
Cool. I'm watching the time. I've got two questions for you. The first one is, how has fatherhood changed you?
That's a good question. I don't know. I don't know if it has changed me or if it's made me more wanting things fixed now, because I often feel like I don't have time to wait, because I know my experiences. Like, I always say, and a motto we have in our house around things is, something happened to me because someone didn't do their job, because for whatever reason, and I don't want to be that person. And Ash has that same mentality with health, with council. If someone contacts her, she wants to finish that thing, and the same with me. And the way I can put that is that I've got a 7-year-old daughter and there are issues that I'd been trying to change prior, which there has been some change, which is good, which doesn't, it moves slow. And now people say, change takes time, but time you don't have when you've got like I've got a 7-year-old kid who's growing up waiting. So what's shaping, I get anxious about what's shaping her outlook of life, what's shaping her view, what's impacting her. What's her trauma going to be? Is she going to have trauma? Maybe I'm a bit of a helicopter parent in that part. But yeah, so I think maybe that's it makes me more committed to an outcome. Yeah, and actions and outcomes, I guess. I don't like going to things where there's no outcome or action, and I'll be that person in the background. So what was the action from that? What was the outcome? What are we doing? Like I want, if I'm meeting and we're doing something, there's an action and there's an outcome. Because we need to change something.
Yeah. And my last question, because I know we have to go, is what would you like people to walk away with from our yarn this afternoon?
Oh, that's a hard question. I don't know.
That was going to be easy.
Yeah, because we've got two things here. My business. So visit my website, www.vallone.com.au. Follow my socials because I'm trying to get some income from the. You get over 1,000 followers, they start paying you for views. So engage with that. I'd like that as well. Check out my
we'll put all the links in the bottom of the YouTube for you.
Awesome. And I think the biggest thing out of everything is I know sometimes it gets hard for people. I think there's no way out, but just stay focused and try. Like the best you can do is try, and just keep going, I guess.
No, thanks. Look, guys, I'm watching the time. We're out of time. So I want to thank Simon for joining us today. It was hard to get him on, but I got him on in the end. So Simon, I do really respect you and look up, and I follow you all the time. I'm always following your Facebook and TikTok stuff. So I just want to say thanks, Simon, for joining us. And guys, I'll see you at the next podcast. See ya.
Take care. Bye.